Yo! Hello and welcome back to Rana. My name is Beast and today we're back with Hoshizora no Memoria. As you see, I have a fucking pullover on. Like a fucking sweater on. Mainly because my jacket that I usually wear down here got dirty from working outside in the garden. And, I do still have a t-shirt on under this. But yeah. Other than that, what I want to say. Right. My plan was to stream today originally, and all of that happened. And quite frankly, I want to keep it more short and chill today. I'll be streaming tomorrow instead. So yeah. Okay, when you see this video, I'll have already streamed. So why am I telling you all this? Who really knows? No one. That's why. That's so. Anyways, please repeat yourself.
ちょうど今、お父さんが館長さんと電話で話してるよ。
Waited for school to end, and like yesterday, came to the cafe with everyone.
科学館のプラネタリウムが使えるかどうか聞いてるんじゃないかな。私も一度見てみたいと思っていたので楽しみです。小雨ちゃん、見たことなかったんだ。はい。麻生さんはあるんですよね。何度かね。閉館セレモニーのプラネタリウムが特に良かったな。
天文クラブの会員も全員参加したから僕も感動したと思うんだけど、どういうわけかよく覚えてないんだよね。
Maybe it had something to do with the protests he was doing to try and prevent the science center from being closed down. Also, what was the final planetarium show like?
最後だけあってすっごく盛り上がってたよ。上映が終わった後の拍手なんてドーム全体に鳴り響いてたし。
Accidentally hit the chair.
ドームが明るくなったら職員の人が投影機の周りに並んでね、一人ずつ挨拶したんだ。その中に館長さんもいたのかもしれないね。
館長は人前に出るのを嫌う人だって聞いていたから、どうだろうね。僕も顔を見たことすらないよ。
奥ゆかしい方だったんですね。
というより、彼は目立つのが苦手だったんだ。
Also, his dad popped his face out from behind the counter.
僕が学生だった頃からそうだったよ。
Oh, you two must go way back.
館長さんとはクラスメートだったんですか？
先生と教え子の関係だよ。僕がひばり校に通っていた時に赴任してきた先生だった。
とすると年上なんですね。
実際には10も離れてないから、今では友人感覚で付き合っているけどね。
He went from being a teacher to being the director of the science center?
そうだよ。僕が卒業して10年くらい経ってからかな。当時の館長が高齢になって引き継ぎが必要ということで市の推薦で選ばれたんだ。総責任者としては年が若かったし大抜擢だった。それでも彼は天文学、特に望遠鏡やプラネタリウムに造形が深かったからね。反対する人はほとんどいなかったという話だよ。
ひばり校に天文学の授業はありませんし、科学や物理の教師だったんでしょうね。
そうだね。大学ではもともと天文学を専攻していたそうだけど、それがなぜ教員の道に進路を変えたのかは僕も詳しくないんだ。
で、連絡取ってどうだったの？
元気そうだったよ。話し込んで長電話になってしまった。
プラネタリウムは？だからプラネタリウムの使用許可聞いてくれたんでしょ？
昔話に花が咲いて忘れてた。
お父さんのバカ！
If it's not too much trouble, could you ask him for us next time? He didn't give us an immediate response.
あまり乗り気じゃないみたいですけど。
そうだね。どちらかというと僕は反対だから。
なんでだよ。館長さんは喜ぶって言ってたくせに。
彼じゃなくて僕の問題だからね。それより君たちにまだ聞いてなかったけど、
He scanned all our faces in a serious
君
manner.
たちはなぜプラネタリウムを見たいんだい？
Nobody offered him any answer. It wasn't that they couldn't. It looked like they were letting me answer this, since this was my idea in the first place. So I decided to do so. I want to let this girl always see the Science Center's planetarium once more.
葵さん？
Oh, Isuzu. She's a member of our club.
お父さんも一度会ってるよ。海水浴の時に。
Oh, that girl, he
写
nodded.
真でしか見ていなかったけど、彼女がイスズちゃんか。大きくなったというよりは昔のまま小さくて可愛らしい子だな。
昔って？
イスズちゃんの家族が7年前にひばりが崎に引っ越してきたというのは知ってたかい？
そうなの？
私は初めて聞きました。
彼女は自分のことをあまり話さないからね。
I had heard from Moya herself, but it didn't look like anyone else knew about it. However, I, like the rest of them, didn't know when it happened. 7 years would mean Aoi moved here to Ibarigosuke around when me and my family moved off to the city.
イスズちゃんのご両親はね、僕の同僚だったんだよ。元同僚と言った方が正しいけど。
This part was also news to me, so Aoi's parents...
どちらも天文学の研究員だよ。現役のね。仕事で知り合って結婚したと聞いてる。
He then narrowed his eyes as if looking back fondly at the past.
僕の同僚とは言ったけど、一緒に仕事をした期間は短かった。彼らはオーストラリアに海外赴任したんだよ。南十字星で有名なオーストラリアは、南半球の星空を研究できる数少ない天文施設があるからね。日本からの派遣研究員も後を絶たなかった。仕事は多忙だったそうだけど、それでも2人は結婚後に子供を設けたんだ。いすずちゃんはね、南天の星空が見える土地で生まれ育ったんだよ。
Called it! I called it that she used to live in the southern hemisphere. Story all made sense to us. Star Sky, the southern hemisphere that Aoi yearned for, was something like a home to her. So to speak.
彼らの勤め先は新しく建設された天文台だった。いすずちゃんはそこを保育園代わりに育てられたそうだ。と言っても星にはあまり興味を持ってくれなかったようでね。彼らはちょっと残念そうだった。それでもいすずちゃんは天文台に勤める研究員たちにはとても懐いていたんだ。だから日本に戻ることが決まった時の落ち込みようは相当なものだったそうだよ。
Finally understood now. Explains why Aoi always tried to distance herself from everyone else. It explained why she hates working together in groups. It explained why she never tried to ever make friends. She feared the possible eventual parting and the ensuing pain should she get too close to someone. Did they come back to Japan for work-related reasons?
いや、いすずちゃんの妹のためなんだ。
鈴葉ちゃんの？
ああ。鈴葉ちゃんは生まれつき体が弱かったそうでね。オーストラリアの環境で生活するには辛かったんだ。
Yeah, Australia, in Australia only the strong survive, you know. Fucking, we don't know what that hell is. Listen, like, you don't like people don't get to be complain about jokes like that when it's a surprise to hear about an animal not being deadly that lives in Australia.
天文台の近くに住んでいたとしたら厳しいでしょうね。
どうしても高地になるからね。昼は暑くて夜は寒い。乾燥地帯でもあるから雨量が少なく断水も多かった。鈴葉ちゃんも体調を崩すことが多かったんだ。だから日本に戻ることを決めたそうだ。医療の面から見ても日本の方が住みやすいからね。僕も仕事仲間として相談を受けていたから戻ってくることを勧めたよ。
それで ひばりが崎に引っ越してきたんですね。
今は隣町の研究所に勤めているよ。オーストラリアから持ち帰った研究資料を役立てているはずだ。
思ったんだけど、葵さんが引っ越してきたのって小学生の時になるよね。
そうだね。鈴葉ちゃんは2歳くらいだったかな。
でも私の小学校に転入生なんて来なかったよ。
イスルちゃんは海外育ちの帰国子女だから、まずは日本語学校に通ったんだよ。そこで勉強した後に中学校に上がったんだ。
葵くんが天文クラブで無口だったのは、日本語がうまく話せないせいだったんですね。
If you look at it from a different perspective, it meant she loved the Science Center enough to go there despite not having a good grasp on the language. Oi gazed at the planetarium in order to distract herself from the loneliness of being taken away to this strange foreign land. It's like how I stared up at the city's night sky after being separated from the lookout girl. 7 years ago, both she and I were forced to leave our homes. But for her, the Science Center ended up closing down 4 years ago, thus meaning she only had 3 short-lived years where she was still able to dream about her home back in Australia. Shortly after that dream crumbled to pieces, the telescope ended up being left in her care. That was why she just couldn't let go of that thing. Even after it broke and became useless, she still held on to it.
イスズちゃんのためなら僕も協力するしかないんだろうね。
Flashed a self-deprecating
ま
smile.
た明日にでも来てくれるかい。今度はちゃんと館長に伝えるから。彼が整備を続けているならプラネタリウムはまだ生きているはずだから。
That would mean that we would also bring Aoi's dream back to life. I solemnly believed that. Night fell, and no matter how long we waited, Aoi didn't show up to our usual Friday stargazing session. I tried swimming by the harbor on my way home, but she wasn't there either. I went the entire day without seeing her face. There was an undeniable distance between us. Distance that only increased, moving us ever further apart as time went on. But even if she was moving away, I'd run after her, catch her, and then I'd make her turn around and face me.
お父さん、ただい
おかえり。天体観測は楽しかったかい？
南魚座のフォーマルハウトがすっごく綺麗だったよ。もう自分で聞いといてすぐそういう顔するんだから。
根が正直なものでね。
ほんと自分は天文学者だったくせに、私が天文に興味持つといい顔しないんだから。
Hoshizora wryly smiled at his daughter's remark.
そっちもお仕事終わり？
ああ、店じまいも済んだしね。
館長さんに電話は？
仕事は終わったけど、もう遅い時間だからね。
なんかずるずる引き伸ばしそうなんだよな。
He laughed heartily. Saying that, also sent a reproachful glare his
プ
way.
ラネタリウムの件、お父さんが邪魔するなら私も容赦しないからね。
どう容赦しないんだい？
お父さんにメイド服着せられて無理やり労働させられてるって相談所に駆け込むとか。
本気で抹殺にかかってるね。
Soichiro had always left it up to his daughter whether she wanted to work or not. But that part about the maid uniform might go in her favor.
それが嫌なら真面目によろしくね。
While he didn't respond, Asa didn't say anything more and went inside the house. Leaning an elbow against the counter, he unconsciously let out a sigh. His daughter also had once wanted to join the astronomy club at the science center, but he wouldn't let her. For certain reasons, he did not want Asa to become too involved with the stars. That's why he had trouble bringing himself to support her right now. Being the one who was also against her daughter joining the Astro Circle in the first place, he wasn't able to conceal the displeasure on his face on days like this, where she went off stargazing late at night. So when it came to mentioning the director that they wanted to use the planetarium again, he was unsure whether he should or not.
あの感動をもう一度か。
Soichiro was also present at the final screening during the closing ceremony. He had already resigned from his job there at that point in time, so he participated as an audience member. Even for a man that renounced his love for astronomy, like Soichiro, that planetarium show was something that left him in awe. Part of him was filled with sweet feelings of nostalgia. Maybe those were feelings that stemmed from the time he spent as an astronomer, or maybe there was something that resounded within him simply because he was human. Planetariums have the power to call forth that sense of nostalgia. That was something the director had also once said. Planetariums are a time machine for stars.
プラネタリウムというのは過去から未来ギアとモーターを駆使して再差運動と年周運動を調整し再現する機械仕掛けの宇宙が時をかけることさえ可能にする。だから誰もが懐かしく感じるのさ。
The day after the science center closed, Soichiro went to give his last regards to the director, who in turn imparted him those words while opening up the projector to show him what was inside. Inside was a constructed world in which the workings of the universe were condensed into the size of a small ball. I was speechless. This was the world the director brought to life. This was the universe that astronomers had shed light upon. The starry sky of Barigaski that the Astro Circle spent their time observing. His job was to bring forth the mystery of the unknown using the power of man, one that would inspire anyone who engages in astronomy to reach towards it. In addition, he offered that mystery to the children of Barigasaki.
まさしく神の所業だね。
If God was the creator of the universe, then that would make this God his former mentor of the cosmos. The man that Soichiro saw as his former mentor in reality had his will passed down onto the Astro Circle through the Astronomy Club. Somebody like him had no right to stop that, and Soichiro too now got the urge to join in and help. Good, you better.
それじゃあその人影は科学館に入っていったのかい？
Yeah, I think so. I caught sight of the suspicious individual again this morning at the science center. On my way back from there, I came by the cafe to have
確
lunch.
実に館長だろうね。立ち入ってるのは彼しかいないんだから。
Figured it wasn't.
相手の顔は見なかったみたいだね。
Nope. Wait, how'd you figure that out?
もし見ていたら君の反応はこんなものじゃないだろうしね。
What's that supposed to
さて
mean?
なんだろうね。
Some odd reason he dodged the question. If the director's doing maintenance for the projector, then I should have a good chance of meeting him if I stake out the place, right?
そうだね。彼は暇さえあれば訪れてるから。整備なんて連日するようなものじゃないだろうに。
Sure likes that planetarium, huh?
星に見せられた人だからね。程度の違いこそあれ、君やイスズちゃんと同じだということさ。
Though when it comes to living stars, we all lose out to
あの
us.
子にも困ったものだね。
Wonder why he seems so troubled about
館
that.
長にはいずれちゃんとした形で会えるよ。急がなくてもね。
During the planetarium show, you mean?
今は彼に掛け合っているところだけど、上映の際に会うのは難しいんじゃないかな。彼は大人数の前に出るのをひどく嫌うんだ。テンクルの前には姿を見せないだろうね。
You said he dislikes being the center of attention,
上
right?
がり症なんだよ。1対1で話す分には普通というか、不遜ですらあるんだけど。
He sounds like the perfect guy for the teaching profession.
苦労してたみたいだよ。僕にとっては彼が教師になろうと思ったことが最大の謎だけどね。
ようちゃん、どうぞ。
Also brought over a dessert for me.
お仕事一段落したし、私も参加させて。
それじゃ僕は持ち場に戻ろうかな。
As he left, also sat directly across from me, as if switching places with him.
ようちゃん、今日はバイトは？
Yeah, I owe your dad for the planetarium and all, so I'd better.
そう言ってくれると思ってたよ。
I'll start as soon as I finish eating.
お昼時過ぎたし、仕事は少ないけどね。
What's there to do for the time being?
テーブルの片付けと皿洗い。あとは新作メニューの味見係くらいかな。
My job after all that's done is keeping you from getting bored, I'm guessing.
さすがようちゃん、わかってるね。
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want you falling asleep while studying for your midterms.
全然わかってなかった。
I helped out until dinner rush came, and then I went home. I want to drop by Oe's house as well.
どちら様？
You know who?
オレオレ詐欺。
Mayor actually used that same joke.
屈辱です。
I visited at a time when the dining table at the Kokosaka household would be lively with people.
私に何か用ですか？
Yeah, I suppose.
何ですか？
Well, I wanted to have fun with you.
死んだらいいと思います。
Won't you come eat dinner with us? Would you please come say hi?
すでに断ってると思います。
I was hoping you might have changed your mind or something.
変わってませんから。
Are you gonna be eating by yourself?
みんなで食べた方が美味しいなんて言わないでくださいね。
Would I come across as
う
annoying?
ざいです。
I at least want to eat together with you, though.
訴えますよ。
Even if that counts as sexual harassment, then how am I even supposed to talk? If even that counts as sexual harassment, how am I supposed to talk to you?
何もしなくて結構ですから。
It was as hard as usual. Okay, well, I'm going home
は
then.
い、どうぞ。
Don't get it in your head that you've won this.
思ってないですけど、負けたとも思いませんから。
Man, you sure don't like to lose, huh?
何かおかしい気がします。
Well, see ya.
はい、また。
I see you said see you later this time.
死んだらいいと思います。
Well, on that note, let's eat together again next
ま
time.
たなんてありませんから。
We'll see about that.
絶対にありませんから。
I decided to leave it at that and withdraw for the time being. Sun seemed to be fully below the horizon now. The scenery outside the window is shrouded in darkness. Izuzu's sitting by her desk absent-mindedly. Right about now, the rest of them are probably enjoying dinner together. Thinking of that makes her lose her appetite. Standing in the kitchen, fixing something, ordering delivery, eating out. Now that feels appealing to her. Which is odd, since she never used to have a problem with eating alone. That is how lunchtime always was for her, like for her at Hibari High. And, well, before then, too. Since moving to Japan, she would always eat lunch at school by herself. Unlike back in her home country, she had no friends here. Although the fact brought her sadness at first, she has grown used to solitude by now. She grew used to being alone, so she did not feel the effect of loneliness. Having nobody around her became her new normal. That was why she had no need to be sad or lonely. At some point, that had changed. Like it was after the pair of siblings had moved in next door. Her once quiet and uneventful surroundings suddenly were bursting with vibrant sounds. Being someone who had been accustomed to quietude, that noisiness perturbed her, frustrated her. It felt unsettling. Constant outpouring of noise. As that had went on for 3 straight months, her new normal was now hearing that sound. Her heart, that had become habituated to the past 3 years of loneliness, has now turned on its head by Ah! Sorry, I ate too much. We ordered out again. Was now on its head by a mere 3 months of noise. That is why being alone now brings loneliness with it.
どうして？
Confuses her to no end. She feels as though she has been swindled. Has she always been this weak a person? She feels pathetic. She feels like crying. Slitting her heart like this was something she can never forgive them for doing. Bringing this confusion into her life has only caused her to hate their very existences. She doesn't feel lonely. She so desperately wants to convince herself of that.
お姉ちゃん。
Thereupon she heard a voice she had least expected to hear.
夕ご飯持ってきたよ。
An unexpected face walks into our room. A face that ought not to have been here.
みんなでご飯一緒に食べよ
Thus, that sound has been reintroduced. In a flash, her surroundings take color once again. Izusu's heart gets shaken. Sorry for the intrusion!
う。お邪魔しまーす。
After Suzu entered the room, Jinami and I followed briefly after.
ごめんね、お姉ちゃん。押しかけるみたいになって。
It looked like Aoi had trouble grasping the situation. I guess that later came pretty soon, huh?
葵ちゃん、待ちに待ったちなみが来たよ。ここで食べていいかな。
She gave no response. We, of course, couldn't just keep standing like this, so we each looked for a place to put down the dishes we were carrying. We packed the dinner that Onchino made for us inside Tupperware containers and brought them over. Still have that picnic blanket, don't you?
ちょうど見つけたよ。机の横に折りたたまれて置いてあったよ、お兄ちゃん。
Mind if we borrow this, Aoi?
どうぞです。
Suza answers in place of Aoi, who was still unresponsive. Let's spread this out right away and place containers on top. We all sat around the picnic sheet. With all four of us, it was crowded naturally. However, we still had enough room to eat. Okay then, let's dig in.
いただきまーす。いただきます。待ってください。
Sure took you long enough. After we just sort of got going on our own, Aoi finally cut in.
何やってるんですか？葵ちゃんと一緒にご飯を食べるんだよ。
We were planning to eat in the dining room at first, but, well, we didn't find you there.
それで私がここまで案内して、どうせならってことでここで食べることにしたんだよ。したんだよじゃない。
You could clearly tell that she was irritated from her voice.
いきなり人の部屋乗り込んで、私が何も言わないうちに用意してご飯食べようとして、勝手に食べようとして。
We were ready to leave if she told us to get out. However, the next thing to leave Oi's mouth left us all speechless.
私もお腹減ってるのに食欲なかったはずなのに。なのにいい匂いがしてくるから、しょうがないことだから。だから自分たちだけで食べようとしないでください。
Tsundere! How is Isuzu a harder tsundere than Komomo? I was not expecting that. We all nodded at the same time. You don't have to worry, we brought enough for you as well. Oh, he joined our little circle, albeit displaying hints of frustration.
これは気の迷い、ただの気の迷い。
She muttered that throughout the
惑わ
meal.
されたせいなんだから。
Looking at her eat, I couldn't help but think that she was kind of cute.
今ね、館長さんがプラネタリウムの準備してくれてるって。お父さんがさっき教えてくれたの。
Ah, so he gave us permission?
お父さんもやる気になったみたいで、館長さんの準備手伝いに行ったよ。
Should we be over there helping them too?
私もそう思ったんだけど、いらないって。むしろ邪魔になるって言わ
As
れ
was
ちゃった。
amateurs like us would only slow them down.
それもだけど、大人数で押しかけると館長さんが逃げるかもしれないって。
Man, he really is shy around people.
お礼とか言いたいんだけどね。
So then, does that mean we won't get to meet him during the actual planetarium show?
そうなるかもね。 でもアナウンスは館長さんがやってくれるんだって。神話とかロマンチックに語ってくれると嬉しいな。
Also about the program.
伝えておいたよ。葵さんの思い出にある星空をお願いしますって。
Really can't thank you enough.
私にお礼言わないで。仲間なんだから。私だってようちゃんと一緒に館長さんにお礼を言う側なんだから。
Yeah, true. So, have we decided on the date and time? The moment I heard Asu's response to that question, I instantly felt an extreme gratitude towards the director. Today.
どちら様？
It's me. You know me.
また詐欺セールスですか？
No, that's wrong in more ways than one.
セールスマン撃退のコツは、すべての言葉に間に合ってますと答えること。
She mumbled.
これ以上は惑わされないようにしないと。
Are you alright, Aoi?
間に合ってます。
But man, you're up early today considering it's weekend.
間に合ってます。
Well, thanks to that, you saved me some
間
trouble.
に合ってます。
Are you free right
間
now?
に合ってます。
Say, Aoi, you like planetariums, right?
間に合ってます。
Okay, if you like planetariums, then say no thank you.
間に合ってます。
There we go.
うざ。
We're going to see the planetarium show right now. Wanna come along?
私をかどわかそうと言うんですね。
I don't know what kind of misunderstanding would lead you to think that, but we had a deal. Don't tell me you forgot. She sent a doubtful glance
科
my way.
学館のプラネタリウム、見られるんですか？
Sure will.
いつ？
Right now.
急ですね。
The old director and also his dad got surprisingly fired up about it, so things went a lot faster than expected. When I heard about it from Asu over the phone, even I was taken somewhat aback by the sheer speed at which they got everything ready. Astonished, but at the same time thankful. Asu also got in touch with everyone in the Astro Circle. We want you to come too.
断ったら？
Then our deal will be off, and I guess I won't get the chance to repair your telescope.
じゃあ、断ってみます。
Gotcha.
そんな、あっさり。
If you truly honestly don't want me to fix your telescope, then there's no point to this deal.
私がどう思ってるかわからないのに、取引を持ちかけたんですね。
It's a bit late to be acknowledging it, but
なの
yeah.
に、プラネタリウムの準備をしたんですね。
Yep, we did.
おかしいです。
She looked
私に
down.
そこまでしてくれるのは、おかしいです。
Makes perfect sense to me.
友達だからですか？
You read my mind.
どうして私と友達になりたいなんて。ちなみさんだけじゃなく、先輩まで。
If I feel the same as Chi to me, then you should know my answer. Because I like you, Aoi. Her lips quivered as if she were enduring something.
そうやって、
Her shoulders also trembled slightly.
そうやって、私を惑わして。だから、変な気持ちになって、弱くなって。
Aoi, will you run away if I hold out my hand to her here? Would you please come gaze at the starry skies of the southern hemisphere with us? Aoi did not take my outstretched hand. However, she didn't back away either. She was the very image of a frightened child. Looking at her face gave me the impression she might burst into tears any moment.
来た来た、ようちゃん。
Waiting for me in front of the science center was also waving her hand at me.
案外早く全員が集まりましたね。
住所はみんな近いし、何より楽しみだからね。
Cosme and Okaizumi were also there. If this was the whole gang, then that meant Hisakaki and Setsuna weren't coming. I was unfortunately unable to get in touch with Mir either. For a planetarium screening, it was a fairly small audience. Well, at least the star of the show is here.
葵さん、いらっしゃい。
惑わされませんから。
何が？
かどわかされませんから。
なんだか警戒されてるね。
小動物みたいで可愛いです。
いずれ先輩より大きくなりますから。
とても楽しみですね。
余裕。
If I had had my enter just now, I got the feeling that I would have been bitten.
こんにちは。みんな集まったかな？
Also, Dad walked out from the building and greeted us. Thanks so much for doing this for us.
いやいや。テンクルは僕の後輩みたいなものだし、これくらいなんでもないさ。
最初は渋ってたくせに。
いすずちゃん、お久しぶり。
He ignored Asu and turned to face Aoi.
本日はご来場ありがとうね。
何者？
いや、海水浴の時に会ってるだろう。
この人も私をかどわかそうとしてるんですね。
僕、何か怒らせるようなことしたかな？
Aoi, are you mad that we forcibly dragged you here?
怒ってません。
You're being rather prickly for someone who's not angry.
先輩のせいですから。
I'll apologize for forcing you to come.
それだけじゃないですから。
What else is there?
全部ですから。
Everything starting from where?
先輩が隣に引っ越してきた時から全部ですから。
Didn't you just deny my very existence?
なるほど。ハリネズミのジレンマかな。
何ですかそれ。
Oh! I know about that one from fucking... Hedgehogs fucking!
ね。
Please stop. You're only adding fuel to the fire. If he explains what it meant, she'd most likely turn tail and go home immediately.
今、チェーンを外すよ。建物の中には職員用の玄関から入れるから、館長ももうアナウンスの用意をしているところだよ。
Thus, with him taking the lead, we proceeded inside the science center. Oi glumly walked along beside me. Came out of the dim corridor. The section that seemed to have originally been a display corner was no longer adorned with anything, only barren panels. The showcase lined up were also covered in nothing but dust. The paint on the walls was beginning to peel back, which really gave one a sense of how long this place had been standing. This room, stripped of everything that had once brought it alive, gave off a hollow, desolate feel. Walking past the hall, I took notice of the elevator, which was no longer functional. The power was off. Though there was no need to worry about that on our part. I was told the place still gets power. Of course, it stood to reason that if this place had no electricity, then the planetarium wouldn't even function. It would probably be tough for the director to do his maintenance as well. Partway during our little journey, I always suddenly stopped walking and reached out her hand towards the panels and cases. Right before her hand made contact, though, she lowered it again and formed a small fist. Contained within that hand were the memories of our past, which she tightly held on to. Upon being led into the dome area, we were met by darkness, even though the show had yet to begin. We fumbled to take our seats. Aoi chose a seat next to me. For the chairs themselves, they were hard and creaked intensely, but they were still what I'd call usable. I heard pitiable voices in front of me that ranged from ouch to where am I? Chances were that was Asu trying to find her way to the front row. Strange enough, although we were inside the dome, there wasn't much of an echo to our voices. Soundproof filter blocked out internal noises, which also dispersed the sound inside. All the more, since Asu's dad had closed the door to the dome's entrance a while ago. Asu's voice had subsided, and a deafening silence was next to come in its wake. It was an atmosphere that I could only say bordered on both excitement and gloom. Largely in part because of the darkness that encompassed us. The projector that sat in the middle gave off a mysterious yet dignified air, beckoning us to explore the vastness of the cosmos. Before long, it would begin.
先輩は
He spoke soft and hushed, so that only I would hear.
先輩は見せてくれるんですか？先輩は連れて行ってくれるんですか？思い出の地に、遠いふるさとに私を。
本日は星のタイムマシーンにご搭乗いただき誠にありがとうございます。
Both she and I were at a loss for words. An announcement blared down from the ceiling. A man's voice said curtly, and also somewhat haughtily, uttered those beautiful, magical words.
よう先輩の声。違う。
Like, that's... Yo! Wait, no. like, imagine Yo was just sitting next to her like... Do I sound that full of myself?
これはあの人の。
That was the director's voice. From the bottom of the dome came a myriad of lights. Fancy-like background music filled the room. And as gradually the sky above us began to shine, the projector silently rotated. Stars began to flicker on the dome's screen. That voice continuing all throughout, introduced us to constellations of the southern hemisphere. His explanations were plain yet accurate, while also having a curt but dreamlike magical touch to them here and there.
艦長を恨みます。先輩を恨みます。テンクルのプラネタリウムに、そして今度は科学館のプラネタリウム。せっかく我慢してたのに、私の思い出の地、南天の土地、遠く離れたふるさと、友達がたくさんいた私のふるさと。
An aurora faintly glowed and danced in the sky, retaking all the variations.
引っ越したくなかった。友達と別れたくなかった。学校と別れたくなかった。研究員の人たちと別れたくなかった。天文台と別れたくなかった。南天の星空と別れたくなかった。このオーロラと別れたくなかった。だって私が育ったふるさとが好きだったから。
I was always under the impression that I understood the pain she dealt with from moving. But what I went through was nothing compared to Aoi's. She went through a tour much farther, tore her much farther apart from what she loved. I could only imagine how painful it was, how hard it must have been to deal with that crippling depression.
行きたい。行きたいよ。またみんなに会いたいよ。
Well, I promise. I'll take you there one day. Come on. Next time I show you these stars, they'll be real. First I showed you the starry skies of the southern hemisphere. Next I showed you the southern auroras. So next time I'll take you to your actual home country where the southern sky hangs overhead. Promise you. Promise you they'll take you there.
どうして？
Well, because I like you, Aoi. Because I liked her as a friend. Though, honestly, perhaps it had already gone past just that. These feelings I have for you are more than what I just feel for a friend.
またそんなこと言って惑わして私をかどわかしてもう詐欺の被害を訴える会に 入りたいくらいです。
But you know, it's genuinely the victim's fault for being tricked.
嫌です。
Jesus! I was unaware that you're... Well, takes part in victim blaming. I
悪
guess.
いのは先輩です。
Yeah, I probably am.
責任取ってほしいです。私をこんな風にした責任取ってほしいです。
Sure thing. Just tell me what you want me to do. Tell me your deepest wish. And I'll do everything within my power to make that wish a reality. I want to destroy the world. Okay. Problematic. But sure, I guess. Wait, what? You just be honest, Zoe. Do what you want to.
じゃあ先輩、私を連れて行ってください。必ず連れて行ってください。
A majestic grid. A majestic grid of stars. Of stars aplenty. And auroras dancing around in
先
splendor.
輩、嘘ついたら大嫌いになりますから。大好きでも大嫌いになりますから。
Beneath that sky, a warm sensation touched my lips. She fucking went for it! Damn! She really just fucking went for it. Beneath the sky, a warm sensation touched my lips. Amongst this thick veil of darkness, the light of the flickering auroras was able to illuminate her figure. It was magical. I could feel her body touching me, yet her figure seemed like a mere illusion to me. I began to think upon the meaning of this kiss. Seeing on the lips is hardly something two friends would ever do. That was what gave my clarity on those feelings of hers. What gave me clarity on those feelings of hers. Even during our long kiss, the projector continued to silently revolve. The sky began to give off a white glow. The sun had risen from the eastern horizon. The show was nearing its finale. Once the sun came into perspective, this magic would finally wear off. The dreamlike world that the director had created for us would be no more. A dream fragile as glass. A dream that I'd carry forth from here on out. Along with the broken telescope that you entrusted to her. That's what you wanted, isn't it, Dad? I was gonna joke about it when she said their voices match, but then decided to go with the haughtiness angle. But it's his actual dad? I shouldn't have chucked that. Hold on. What the fuck? I thought his dad was dead! That's what it made it out to be in the common! This morning was a lot warmer than usual. I almost think of a typhoon had just passed. That was just how sparse the clouds were in the sky. Here in Ibarigaski, we rarely ever see typhoons. Even if one did come did by chance come near us, would only just diverge towards the ocean somewhere along the way. Hence, this almost summer-like weather was something like a gift bestowed to us by the sun before winter would come along. It also felt sort of embarrassing, like Mother Nature herself was blessing our relationship. Good morning, Owe. When I passed by the front of my house on our way to school, she stopped and stared down at the ground. In contrast to her usual routine, she didn't walk off by herself without me.
おはようございます。
She shot me a greeting that was awkward and rife with bashfulness. Because of that, I too didn't know what to say anymore. I wanted to sit here and not say anything, and I struggled to squeeze some words out of my throat. Oh wait.
嫌です。
I didn't really get what was going on, but I got rejected. After that planetarium show ended yesterday, we parted ways immediately. She didn't even show up to dinner. I didn't dare to go to her room either. It was just as difficult for me to face her. They ended just like that, and now here we are, stuck in this awkward situation. But knowing this would happen, I could have at least messaged her. I could have at least messaged her or something last night. Should have confirmed her feelings. I mean, it wasn't like I came forward with a proper confession or anything. So technically speaking, we weren't in a relationship just yet. Even if we kissed each other. I need to just come out and state it plainly. If not, then our relationship would just stay in this maybe so, maybe not phase. Well, it was right there in front of me. The distance between us used to be something I could never bridge, no matter how much I wanted to. But now the distance between us is no more than a foot. Away? As I called her name, she lifted her face ever so slightly. Well, it's kind of like I have something important to talk with you about, you could say.
嫌です。
I want you to listen to what I have to say.
嫌って言いました。
So, am I supposed to take that as a rejection?
そうじゃなくて。
Okay, well, hear me out then. She jolted up.
いや、
She hung her head even lower than
よく
before.
わからないから。こういうのわからないから。
Although her words seemed to be rejecting me, she did not run away. She
全
did
然
not run
わ
away.
からないから。
Even if she was treading in unknown waters and things felt awkward, even if she felt scared, she still stayed there by my side. If that was the case, then she probably already knew. Ahoy, He just grabs her, just chucks her back into the house, fucking closed the door. Where was I? There, that critical moment. I just so happened to be interrupted by my dear little sister.
急がないと遅刻だよ。二人ともぼやぼやしてると置いてっちゃうよ。ちなみに今朝は暑かったから夏の制服にしてみたんだけど、問題あるかな、お兄ちゃん。
You're absolutely right.
明らかに人の話を聞いてない相槌だよ、お兄ちゃん。
Oi's eyes met with mine for a brief moment and only turned away almost instantly. Her face was beet red and she looked like she was about to cry. She walked on without saying
待って待って葵ちゃん。葵ちゃんはちなみが夏の制服を着てるの見てどんな感想を持ったかな。
She walked on, saying nothing further. That's what it said.
死ねばいいの。
この陽気が吹き飛ぶくらいの冷たさだよ、葵ちゃん。
Just go back and change already unless you want to get yelled at by the student council. We're going on ahead without you.
やだやだ、置いてかれるくらいならちなみは生徒会室でカツ丼食べることを選択するんだから。
The weather must have been getting to her head. She seemed a lot more wild than normal. In the end, the two of us chased after Aoi.
ねえねえ葵ちゃん。今朝の葵ちゃんはいつにも増して無口だね。それになんか元気ないね。だからちなみが葵ちゃんを元気づけるために一段と四六時中寝る間を惜しんで話しかけてあげるね。
Save me was written all over Aoi's face.
葵ちゃん、ちなみに彼氏はいるって聞いてみて。
ちなみさん、かかしはいる？
ちなみは農家の人じゃないからかかしはいらないよ。どっちかっていうと欲しいのは彼氏だよ。
ちなみさん、 かんざしはいる？
ちなみは芸者じゃないからかんざしはいらないし、だんだん離れていってるよ葵ちゃん。
ちなみさん、解釈はいる？
もう跡形もないし、葵ちゃんの骨を垣間見たようで怖くてたまらないよ。
From just a glimpse, I believe she currently sees Aoi's perception of her on a daily basis. So back to what you were saying. You said you want the boyfriend.
欲しいというか、もういるんだよ。
And who is this poor brain-dead son of a gun, if I may ask?
お兄ちゃんっていう馬の骨だよ。
Man, is this some lovely weather we have today?
ちなみの頭をグリグリする因果関係がさっぱりわからないよお兄ちゃん。
ダメです。
Aoi spoke in a hushed
先
tone.
輩を彼氏にするのはダメです。
Chinami looked at her puzzledly.
なんで
二人は兄弟だし、
ちなみの愛はそんな防壁に屈しないんだよ。
I suppose her nuclear warhead caliber love would even pulverize the person she loved.
それでもダメです。
なんで
ダメだから。
なんでダメなのか教えてほしいよ葵ちゃん。
Aoi's face was getting redder and redder,
だって
with a voice virtually on the verge of crying. She cast her eyes downward to the point where I wasn't even in her vision anymore. She gingerly grabbed my clothes.
これは私のものです。
Oh great, I'm a thing. I really want to believe a thing is just a weird definition of boyfriend.
葵ちゃん、これって何のこと？
Thanks to that, though, Chinami's mind was left completely in the dark regarding us. Aoi immediately let go of me again.
何やってるの？変になってる。おかしくなってる。離れたいのに離れたくない。近づきたいのに近づけない。わけわからなくなってる。
She muttered feebly.
先輩が悪いんです。先輩のせいなんです。
Which is why I had to get a grip on this situation as soon as possible. Once past the school gate, we would have to go our separate ways, of course, since we were in different grade levels. But before that, I took the opportunity and said it to her. Oh, I love you. And like I just thought to myself, I really did say it literally as soon as possible. And like I just thought to myself, I really did say it literally as soon as possible. And as a matter of course, I was surprised.
ちなみも葵ちゃんのこと好きだよ。
Unfortunately for me, my dim-witted little sister had to go and render my confession nil. Oh, see you later. I just have to wait until Chinami wasn't around and do this right. Aoi opened her mouth only to close it again right away. After that, she walked off to the school building with her eyes glued to the ground.
待ってよ、葵ちゃん。
Chinami also ran off. I figured Chinami wouldn't be with Aoi after school when she does her cold circle stuff, so I could use that as my chance. I could also try seeing her during lunch break too, I guess, but because of Aso and the others, it'd be difficult for us to be alone. Guess I'd have to wait until after school. Though that meant we'd have to skip going to the club. Hey, Aoi. After school, I went and stood outside her classroom. Want to go home together? Aoi reacted with a jump. Her face went red and her eyes shifted down to the ground.
部活はいいんですか？
Just got done telling them I'd take the day off. Since there was also the competition we had to prepare for, I wanted to keep skipping to just this one time. In order to successfully claim our permission to use the rooftop, we had to raise Aoi's attendance rate. Were you going to go?
先輩は休むんですよね。
Well, yeah.
じゃあ
I vainly waited for what she would say next. Think you could also take the day off? Just has to be today. I kinda wanted to go home with you. After the passage of a considerable amount of time, Aoi finally gave a slight nod. walked next to me, her eyes glued on the floor all throughout. We exchanged no words. We spent lunch break together too, but similarly, she'd kept pretty silent. She just nibbled on her sweet bun with her eyes cast downward. I gave feeding her a try, but she didn't take a bite of it. Nevertheless, one thing she never did was run. Are we? Are you free after this? How about we go somewhere together? I don't want to go on a date together. Her shoulders trembled with the jolt. If there's any place you want to go, I'll take you there. Though, if you're gonna say Australia, I'd like a little more time for that. I imagine she probably had a passport, but I didn't. Besides, I didn't have the kind of money for that in the first place.
海
She shortly muttered so.
海見たいです
She chewed through her words. The harbor near the sign sent you me. She shook her head.
もっとよく見えるところ今日は暖かいから潮風も冷たくないと思うから
I replied with affirmation. Alright, then let's get on the train and make for the beach. We weren't in beach season anymore, but with the sun as radiant as it was, there was a possibility we could do some sunbathing. It was also warm. It was so warm it reminded me of that one time when it was around 30 degrees Celsius in springtime. Something like that was unthinkable considering Hibarikazuki's geographic location. We decided that we'd each respectively get our swimsuits, then meet back outside and head to the beach. Why suddenly swimsuits? Where'd that come from? Oh, there you are. Always walking to the beach in her swimsuit. Seeing how she's hiding her skin with her hands, I suppose she must feel embarrassed. Her face is also red, but it's been that way since some time during our way back home from school. Are you cold? If you're cold, we could go over the cabana hut. She shakes her head. You'd rather be here on the beach? She nods. We aren't the only people around. Most are surfers, but I also catch sight of people that are strolling the beach or lying on towels here and there. Need to say, nobody here came here to swim. It may be warm out, but when the sea breeze grazes your skin, it is a tad cold in beach attire. I guess we should just hold out on swimming any. I imagine it's pretty cold. She nods. Want to just go walking around? She nods. I get going and Aoi trots along. Match her pace as she slowly walks around. I eventually reach the water. I put my foot inside and unsurprisingly I find it too cold to swim in. If we were to splash each other with water like couples commonly do, we'd be practically guaranteed to catch cold. Shall we go back? She nods. He's going and Aoi trots along. The fact that she isn't saying anything is making me a little uneasy. Want me to go get us some drinks? No reaction. Do you want anything to drink or no? No response. Just want me to pick something for you? She nods. Okay, I'll be right back. I get going and Aoi trots along. You could just wait here. He shakes her head.
一緒に行きます
Finally get to hear her voice. Well, I'm just gonna be gone for a second.
嫌です一緒がいいです
After saying that, Aoi casts her eyes down as far as they can go.
私変です変になりました先輩のせいですから先輩が悪いんですから
I take Aoi's hand. Feel an intense tremble run through her body. Right, then let's go together. With her eyes still stuck on the ground and her head facing downward, she nods once again. While rolling our warm drinks between our hands, we sit down on the beach. Unlike back in summer, the sand isn't hot, and it is also less warm than I expect. My body gradually grows colder. The distance between me and Aoi is now closer than when we were walking. Time goes by with zero conversation, just the two of us listening to the sounds of the waves breaking on the beach. The days are a lot shorter during this time of year. Accordingly, the temperature is also quicker to fall. The already small amount of people on the beach dwindles further and further. There becomes less and less people around. The coldness really strikes home. So we look together, shoulder to shoulder. The crimson sea before our eyes, so vast and infinite. Gazing at the shining horizon all the while. There's a boundary line that divides a far, far away land. Boundary line that splits the world in two. Oh, still, once that sun sets and the boundary line dissolves into the night, I assume the two worlds will become one. Will you go out with me? But seeing her nod, light to respond, I embrace her. Jesus, come on! Have some self-control! Her tiny body fits completely into my hands. I lay her down and take a position over her. I slowly bring my face close to hers, and then they skip it, please. Skip, please. Skip, please. Is there something wrong with you? Is there something wrong with you because of me?
はい。もっと変になりました。ドキドキしておかしくなりました。
Because of me?
はい。
What should I do? Oh, his eyes quiver. What do you want me to
意
do?
地悪です。
That's so.
そうです。
Then I'll just do what I want to. Guess he wants more.
はい。
The huh, uh-huh, 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 uh-huh. Is this just them making out? Please, fade to black.
何した
Fade to black,
入って
please.
きました
Well, yeah.
いっぱい舐められ
Well,
ました
yeah.
先輩の唾
Well, that one I didn't do.
なんでこんなこと
Love you, that's why. The reason for doing it is simple. I love you that way. I also want to do other things with you. Is that alright? I nod. It is a nod so small you'd overlook it if you weren't paying attention. His hand on her bare skin. Stroke her, starting from her shoulder to her upper arms. Please, just fade. She's frigid, cold.
少し
Want me to warm you up? Nod. After slightly embarrassing her, I reach out my palm towards one of her modestly protruding breasts. Aoi's shoulders stiffen. You don't want me to touch him?
胸小さいから
You don't have to be conscientious about
気に
that.
します
Well, I like them, even if they are small.
ロリコン
I meant that as in they're cute.
私は大きい方がいいです
Why's that?
そっちの方がかっこいいです
Sometimes I just can't quite get her tastes. Look, size isn't everything.
どうせ先輩には他人事です
That's not what I'm trying to say. The size doesn't matter to me. I get the urge to touch them because they're yours. So yeah, I'm gonna touch them, alright? I nod. She looks embarrassed. Can this please fade? Come on,
先輩の
buddy.
いやらしいです
I don't trust this. I don't trust this. I'm getting the timestamps open. Fuck that. Shit, that's goddamn YouTube to MP3 converter. Excited, her eyes greasy. I'm gonna slide down your swimsuit now. Okay, she shakes her head. You don't want me to. That won't be bad. Now, Izusu says, as I place my hands on her swimsuit, she twists her body in protest.
恥ずか
That's
し
too
い
embarrassing, Izusu says. I guess I can do that. do this. I mean, it's not a promise.
先輩が決めることじゃないです。
Point taken. Well, if you really don't want this, there's nothing I can do but stop. You want me to stop?
意地悪です。
You want me to go on?
意地悪です。
Well, guys just don't tease the girls they love.
いじめっ子です。
So what's your call?
嫌いです。
Oh, their eyes and lips are trembling.
よくわからないのに。こういうのわからないのに。なのに、意地悪ばっかり言って。そんな先輩、嫌いです。
But I love you. I'll always keep loving you no matter what. Oh, his eyes damp and quiver
卑
noticeably.
怯です。そんなこと言って、私を変にさせて。おかしくさせて。
Take hold of her swimsuit. I'm taking this off, okay? It's because I love you that I want to see your body. I get the urge to touch it. Please, just stop. Aoi nods passively. About fucking time! We didn't immediately leave after we experienced our first time there at the beach. Instead, we spent a long time gazing at the sea's horizon together. Me doing this, or like holding it like this, looks like I'm just sitting here like fucking like, ah, yes. Upon leaving the house, I found Isuzu standing there on the street.
おはようございます。
Seeing me, she greeted me with a slight bow. Morning, Isuzu.
名前
Just like I said I would. She then stared down at the ground with a bright red face. Did I make you wait?
いつものことです。
Pretty sure that what you always do is just walk off ahead on your own.
そんなことないです。
Shall we go to school then? Isuzu gave a slight nod and approached me temperately. On old hands.
ダメです。
I'd like to though.
人に見られます。
The embarrassment too much?
恥ずかしいです。
How's your body feeling after yesterday?
聞かないでください。
Well, I'm just worried is all.
お気遣いなく。
Kinda hurts to hear you say that.
ショック。
Well, to me, I think it's only natural to worry about my girlfriend. If it's painful to walk, let's hold hands. Izuzu's gaze darted down to the ground. Red ears were peeking out from between her hair.
実はまだ痛いです。先輩のせいです。
Yeah, I'll apologize for
謝
that.
らないでください。
Then what would you rather have me do? Izuzu's hand gingerly went up, then moved my own hand to her and take hers.
つないで一緒に。
In response to Chinumi's appearance, Izuzu jumped with a start and got away from me.
昨日は夏服で登校したら小桃先輩に怒られちゃったから冬服に戻してみたよ。代わりにスクバを海で使うスイムバッグにしてみたんだけど、どうかなお兄ちゃん。
What does that have to do with the uniform? Go fetch.
ちなみ愛用スイムバッグ投げないでお兄ちゃん。
Izuzu was glaring at me with a bright red face. How is this my fault?
死んだらいいと思います。
She walked off on her own.
待って葵ちゃん。葵ちゃんはちなみのスイムバッグ見てどんな感想を持ったかな。
ほら、取ってこーい。
二人してちなみを邪魔者扱いしてる気がしてならないよ。
Look, if you don't want to be yelled at by the student council, go change your bag. We're going on to school.
やだやだ、置いてかれるくらいならちなみはこもも先輩にカツ丼してもらうことを選択するんだから。
I mean, that doesn't sound like a punishment. That sounds like a reward. Wait, what? Oh, pretty much be impossible anyways, considering Izukaki's personality. We both chased after Isuzu, who had ultimately gone off alone.
ねえ葵ちゃん。ちなみちょっと気づいたことがあるんだけど、あのねもしかしたら見間違いかもしれないんだけどね。
With Isuzu basically ignoring everything coming out of Chinami's mouth, she then said this.
葵ちゃんの首にキスマークがついてるよ。
She covered her neck with her hand at a speed you wouldn't even imagine possible, considering her usual take-it-easy demeanor.
やっぱりキスマークなの葵ちゃん。
そうじゃない。
じゃあ何の後なのかな。
知らない。
知らないならちなみがよく見てあげるね。あざになってたら大変だもんね。
見なくていい。
ダメだよ葵ちゃん。女の子はお肌を大切にする義務があるんだからね。
やめ、触らな。
ダメだよ葵ちゃん。下手に手で押さえるとかぶれちゃったりしちゃうからね。
助け、先輩。
Suzu seeked help from me? Is seeked the right word? It sounds weird. Pretty sure I heard suck once. That also sounds weird, though. Gina, me, there's something important I have to tell you about Isuzu and me. Bam. Ah, damn it, don't kick my shin, Isuzu.
余計なこと言わなくていいです。
お兄ちゃん、今葵ちゃんのこと名前で呼んだ
Bam! Ah, why are you kicking me?
知りません。
She then walked off with a brisk pace.
よくわからないけど、待ってよ葵ちゃん。
Jinami chased after her cheerfully. Having been left behind alone, I could only heave a sigh. I doubt we'd be able to keep it from her for long. Whether we told her or not, I'm pretty sure she'd learn about our relationship sooner or later. That's the same with both Suzuha and Onshino. We eat dinner together on a daily basis. It's only a matter of time until they see that something's up with from the atmosphere we give off and our behavior around each other. Kind of felt bad for Izuzu, since she still seemed embarrassed about other people learning about us, but she'd just have to steel herself and accept it. After all, being in a relationship is nothing to be ashamed of. Right, Izuzu? Once I finish doing what I set out to do, let's tell him. Tonight, I plan to ask her if I could go ahead and repair the telescope.
すみません。今日は部活休んでしまって。
Nah, it's okay. Were you busy or something? With a slight blush on her face, she covered her neck. I see, that's why she didn't want Asa and the others seeing that hickey. Don't worry, come tomorrow, he'll probably be gone entirely. Upon hearing that, her face only contorted into a slight frown.
葵ちゃん、今日は久しぶりにみんな一緒の晩ご飯だったね。
そうでもないと思うけど。
でも、一昨日と昨日は葵ちゃんと一緒じゃなかったよ。
そうだったかな。
そうだったんだよ。ちなみにとっても寂しかったんだよ。なんで葵ちゃん来てくれなかったのかな。
Why are you glaring at me?
知りません。
2 days ago was the day we kissed, and yesterday was the day we officially became a couple.
お姉ちゃん、顔が赤いけど。そんなことないよ。もしかして風邪とか？そうじゃないから安心して。
Izuzu gently stroked Suzuha's
お
head.
姉ちゃん、今度からはお夕飯一緒なんだよね。この前は急に部屋に押しかけてごめんね。私の方こそごめん。でも
また葵ちゃんのお部屋で食べるのもいいね。
死ねばいいのに。そんなこと言っちゃダメだよ、お姉ちゃん。死んじゃえばいいのに。あんまり変わってないよ、お
姉ちゃん。
I suppose that while our relationship has changed, these kinds of changes taking place would always remain the same. What are your plans for tonight, Isuzu?
星見ですか？
Yeah, if you want to go to the rooftop, I'll come with you. Izuzu was conflicted about what to
も
say.
うその必要はないって頭では分かっているんです。南天の星空を探す必要はないって分かっているはずなんです。先輩が約束してくれたから、思い出の星空を見せてくれるって言ってくれたから。だけど
I want to look at anybody Gazuki's nighttime sky with you. So if you like stargazing, I'll come along. It's as simple as that.
はい。
鈴葉ちゃん、今のって何の話？もしかしたら二人は付き
I don't think I've ever seen that expression on Suzuha's on Suzuha's face. It's just panic. Izuzu covered Suzuha's mouth. Suzuha's mouth swift as lightning.
鈴葉も星見行く？
She let go of Suzuha and then switched to subject so as to not make absolutely sure she wouldn't continue on with what she was about to
お
say.
姉ちゃんが誘ってくれるの初めて。
Is that the first time we've seen that awkward smile on her face?
どうする？行きたい。お姉ちゃんと一緒に行きたい。先輩。
Yeah, I'll be taking charge of everyone. Mainly in regards to sneaking yourself at some school.
それじゃあちなみも行くね。
Go fetch!
ちなみを投げたらちなみは誰が取りに行ってくれるのお兄ちゃん。
That just makes it sound like he's dead and just picked her up. Go fetch! Just us planning to chuck her out the window or something. Do we ever need to be fetched?
そこまでちなみを仲間外れにしたいのお兄ちゃん。あらあらダメよようちゃん。いくらいすずちゃんとの馴れ初めを邪魔され。
Izuzu jumped it on Shino.
やめてください。というか、なんで知ってるんですか？
お夕飯食べてる時になんとなく気づいてないのちなみちゃんだけみたいよ。
Jinami was hopelessly dense with regards to things of this nature.
さっきから何のこと？
It's nothing anyways. You better go on and get changed if you're coming with us.
じゃあ準備して家の前で集合だね。ようちゃん、あまり遅くならないようにね。
Of course. Sorry for always having you cut a break.
私は天文部の OG だから天体観測が目的なら反対できなくなっちゃうのよ。
With gratitude towards Onshino's kindness inside my heart, I and the others took off towards nighttime, Hibari High. Jinami and Suzuha walk in front of Isuzu and me, the two hand in hand. Would have liked to have been able to hold hands too, but Isuzu had her telescope to carry. So instead, I decided to propose something. I'll carry the telescope for you. You don't want me to? Isuzu shook her head.
そんなことないです。持たせてあげます。
I threw up a wry smile. Kind of funny, you know? Sounds like I'm the one asking for a favor here.
持ちたくないなら持たせません。
I was just kidding. I'd be happy if you let me carry.
先輩は変な人です。自分から荷物持ちがしたいなんて。
I thus took the telescope from Isuzu. It was, of course, much lighter than Asuro's, but it was still heavy enough for someone with slender arms like Isuzu. Did I say... I feel like I accidentally read it was, of course, much lighter than Isuzu's instead of Asuro's. I feel like I did accidentally read it as Isuzu twice. And I'd make it my duty to carry it for her from now on. Maybe broken right now, but still. Do you still remember our deal, Isuzu? Really like to repair this telescope? Please let me. There was much joy on her face. You don't want me to? She shook her head.
嫌というわけじゃないと思います。ですけど、その望遠鏡は治らないんです。以前に店に持って行った時にそう言われたんです。寿命だから修理は難しいだろうって。
Huh, I didn't know that. The plan was to take to a specialist as well, so not basically out of ideas.
ですから望遠鏡の修理は別に。
I understand what you're saying, but could you please at least let me try?
直す当てがあるんですか？
Nope.
断言されました。
But, well, how to put this? It just kind of leaves a bad taste if I just give up without leaves a bad taste if I just give up without even trying.
先輩の性格的にそんな気がします。
So, could you lend it to me for a little while? If you don't want to, that's fine. I didn't exactly have any concrete ideas, so I couldn't be very well forceful about
やっ
it.
ぱりダメです。
That was her reply.
でも先輩を信頼してないわけじゃないです。
She added that mumblingly. Just by her having said that, I felt gratified. Well, I'm always willing to give it a shot should you ever change your mind.
当てがないくせに自信満々なのが疑問ですけど、わかりました。
Are you gonna go and set the thing up tonight?
一応。
Could I help? Suzu gave a temperate nod.
警備員の人に見つからないでちゃんと来れたね。よかったです。ドキドキしました。
Jinmi and Suzu proceed to shift their gaze to the vast canvas of the nighttime sky that stretched above our heads. Gonna leave setting up to stand to you?
はい、用意しますから望遠鏡を乗せてください。
Suzu and I divvied the work up and assembled the telescope together. There was nothing but darkness to be seen from it, but it helped in setting the mood for a night of stargazing. By the time we had everything set up, we noticed that we had another guest.
帰る。
You literally just showed up! I didn't really see where she came from, but nonetheless, Mare was standing there with a huffy expression.
メアちゃんだ。お久しぶり。
相変わらずうるさい。こんばんはです、メアさん。こんばんは。一応こんばんは。一応だったらいらないわ。
Wise words, since I haven't seen you lately. Her mood still seemed to be a bit huffy. Been busy playing with Muddle.
別に。
I couldn't see Muddle around though. Though I guess he might have been flying about somewhere. You'll stargaze with us, right?
うん、
Why are you so huffy?
別に。
Put that cute face you used to waste if you frown all that time.
バカバカなこと言わないで。まったくです。
Izuzu looked at me with reproachful
あ
eyes.
なたが怒る意味がわからないんだけど。怒ってないし、わからなくていい。ヨウくんのこと好きなんだ。ヨウくんもこの子のこと好きなんだ。
They did tell China me themselves, so Mayor decided to expose them. That sure came out of nowhere. Why was that so easy to say?
ちなみも葵ちゃんのこと好きだし、お兄ちゃんのことも好きだよ。
And Chinami's density, once again, knew no bounds.
そういうことだったんだ。
What are you talking about?
そういうことだったんだなって思って。
Didn't really answer my question. I was asking what you were referring to with
お
that.
別れしてもいいのかなって。
You're leaving?
そうじゃなくて、お別れ、ヨウくんと会うのはやめるかもしれない。
That was awfully sudden.
なんでレアちゃん、なんでお別れしちゃうの？別に
You don't want to hang out with us anymore?
遊んでたつもりはないけど。でも、そんな感じ。
Did we do something that rubbed you the wrong way?
そうじゃない。
Her voice sounded despondent
約
to me.
束、果たしたみたいだから。ヨウくんの悪夢、なくなったみたいだから。私が買ったわけじゃないけど。
Look, I haven't forgotten the lookout girl.
忘れることだけが悪夢を買ったことにはならないから。
What was that supposed to mean?
メアさん、いなくなっちゃうんですか？そんなの、嫌です。
泣き虫ね。
Here. Here. I meant to give it to her earlier, but couldn't since I hadn't met her until today. It's a photo of you and Suzu I promised I'd get you since Mother burnt the last one.
別に。
If you act a obstinate about it oddly, you'll make poor Suzu cry.
鈴葉を泣かせたら許さない。
鈴葉ちゃんの携帯、メアちゃんが待ち受けになってるんだよ。
メアさんは友達ですから。
That seemed to finally make Mare cave
わか
in.
った。もらうから。
The photo passed over from my hand to Mare's hand. Mare stared fixedly at it.
メアさん。
今すぐいなくなるなんて言ってないわ。あなたの泣き虫が治るまでいてあげてもいい。
本当ですか？
しょうがないから、ほんと。
Mare's basically like, well, guess that's kind of a nightmare now, so,
泣くか笑うか、どっちかにして。
じゃあ、笑います。
バカバカ。
At the end of the day, the two of them make for a good match. Mare made me want to see the kind of friends they'd be when they were more grown up. I'd like you to always remain here, anybody Goski, if you can.
嫌って言いたいけど、この子の前だからやめてあげる。
天の弱。
あなたに言われたくない。ヨウくんが好きなくせに。
そんなこと。
葵ちゃんがお兄ちゃんのこと好きなのは嬉しいけど、お兄ちゃんはちなみのものだからあげないよ。
ダメ。これは私のもの。
Great, I'm a thing again.
でもこれはちなみのお兄ちゃんなんだよ。
その前に私の恋人。
It was the first time she'd admitted that before others.
そんなこと言ってちなみを担ごうとしても騙されないよ。恋人なんて嘘だよね、お兄ちゃん。
I love you, Suzu.
公然と愛の告白。
Sorry, Chinami.
公然とちなみを捨てに入ってるよ、お兄ちゃん。
やめて。しつこくしないで。
嫌がってないよね、お兄ちゃん。
Look, could you keep away from me? I don't want to get infected by Chinami germs. Okay, that one was a bit much.
ちなみさんをいじめないでください。そんなヨウさんとお姉ちゃんは嫌いです。
Suzu glared at me. Well, I was just messing around. Let's go on and stargaze. Proceed to settle the situation.
今のは冗談。
Now Izuzu glared at me too.
みんなバカバカだけど、ヨウくんは特にバカバカ。
Finally, I also got a glare from Mare.
それじゃあ星見始めるよ。
And only Chinami's unconditional cheerfulness as my ally.
ねえねえ葵ちゃん、この望遠鏡使わせてもらっていいかな。
死ねばいいのに。
使うのダメだったら触らせてもらうだけでもいいよ。
死ねばいいのに。
Suzu, would it hurt to let her touch it?
私も一回触ってみたいです。
That seemed to be the last push she needed.
絶対に傷つけないでね。はーい。だからそんな乱暴に持たないで。
Jinmi lifted up the telescope with both her hands. Yeah, don't lift it up. Just touch it. You don't need to fucking carry it around like a goddamn club. And Suzu was touching it by poking it with one of her
望
fingers.
遠鏡って結構重いんだね。
それに硬いです。ノックするといい音がしそうです。傷つけたら怒るからね。脅したりしたら怒るからね。
Suzu watched over them, visibly
鈴
frantic.
葉ちゃんも触るだけじゃなくて持ってみる？
いえ、私だと落としそうだから。
大丈夫だよ。落としても葵ちゃんなら笑顔で許してくれるからね。
さっき怒るって言ったでしょ。楽しそうね。
You should go join them too, Mayor.
バカバカね。
Say, I've been wondering, do you even know what a dud is?
間違った。バカバカね。
Are you telling me you say that every time on accident?
バカバカね。
Which is it now?
ほら、鈴葉ちゃん、ちなみが持たせてあげるね。
待ってください。抱えきれなくって。もういいでしょ。早く返して。
Me with a smile on my face, a man with a huffy expression. Two of us gazed from afar at those three. Though there was a concern on my mind. Would she ever entrust me with repairing the telescope? Even after we had shown her the night sky of the southern hemisphere through the planetarium, she still uses that defunct telescope. Would that ever end? Would actually showing her the nighttime skies of Australia really change anything about that? Would it really affect anything if it showed Isuzu the nighttime skies of her childhood, but ultimately came back with her to Barigasaki? Would it not just be an infinite loop we'd set ourselves into? Would she ever actually come to love the starry sky of Barigasaki? I mean, thinking about it, her telescope being broken means she can't look up at the starry sky of Barigasaki. It would only continuously show the skies that her mind wants to see through it. Starry sky of her homeland. I had no idea if repairing a telescope was possible. But the one thing I could say for sure is if she continued on refusing to have it repaired, her eyes would never look at Ibarigasaki's sky. Her mind would only be fixated on the starry sky from the southern hemisphere. She'd only stay gazing at the skies of her past. She'd gaze into that telescope time and time again, waking from that dream that's already ended. Never trying to set her eyes on a new
それ
dream.
があなたの悪夢なのね。
Mare's words were clearly directed at Izuzu.
なぜ手放そうとしないの？なぜ今もなおすがりついているの？他にすがれるものができたはずなのに、頼れる相手ができたのに、頼るだけじゃない、共に歩める相手ができたのに。
Izuzu was speechless. What was Mare getting
りょう
at?
くんは悪夢を克服できたのに、あなたはいつまで悪夢を見続けるの？
Well, maybe what Mare was pointing out was in fact the same thing that had been filling me with frustration.
何言って本当にバカバカ？
A bit farther away, Chinami and Suzuo were still excitedly fiddling with the telescope, completely oblivious to our conversation. Mare held her scythe high above her head.
あなたの悪夢は約束にないけど、
Receiving Ibarigasaki's starlight gave off an ominous sheen.
バカバカなあなたに免じて大サービスでやってあげる。
She swung down the scythe before I had the time to stop her. The glistening silver scythe pierced Isuzu's chest. The whole process took but a moment. The fucking telescope is gone. He got stabbed. It was undoubtedly that Izusu was aware of what exactly had happened. Something had bursted. That something, which came accompanied by light, didn't come from Izusu. It was in the direction of Chinami and Suzuha. Chinami was merely standing there dumbfoundedly, and Suzuha, overcome by surprise, has lost her voice. The skull telescope that was in their hands only seconds ago was now gone. It broke apart and dispersed. Izuzu also noticed and turned around. Apparently the telescope had still been in Chinami's hands. She wasn't one to intentionally set out to harm her friends, so I knew she would never do something so idiotic like forcing the telescope into Susa's hands and therefore causing it to drop. Chinami had held that thing like her life depended on it. Yet now Chinami stood there frozen in place with both her arms still in the position they were when holding the telescope. Pieces of something were falling out of her hands. These pieces being the tiny fragments of the shattered telescope.
何してるの？
There was no physical or mental change to Izuzu. Like in my case, what disappeared was nothing that laid inside of her. Mare, who swung down the scythe, had disappeared some time since. She may have left, but supposing she hadn't, I suppose so would have been Chinami, who Izuzu's eyes were locked on.
ちなみさん、何したの？私の望遠鏡に何したの？あ、
Chinami, made aware of what had happened, wandered her gaze within her own arms, now empty, into Izuzu's face, which was pale and aghast.
ちなみがやったの？他に誰がいるの？
Mare's scythe was what destroyed Izuzu's telescope. Shrimped Izuzu's nightmare, which her telescope was the manifestation of. Would Izuzu buy a story like that? Would you believe something as outlandish as that in a situation like
どう
that?
してくれるの？お姉ちゃん。どうしてくれるの？ちなみさん。
Her emotions were on full display for all to see. It was the first time I'd seen her like this. Izuzu too seemed unable to form
返
words.
してよ。私の望遠鏡。早く返して。直してよ。
Chinami could only stand there wordlessly, accepting every ounce of that anger that came hurtling her way. Her hands were still grasping the telescope's
ま
fragments.
だ望遠鏡使えてたのに。暗闇しか見えなくてもよかったのに。暗闇だから意味があったのに。なのに壊した。ちなみさんが壊した。私の思い出を壊した。ちなみさんのせいで壊れた。
Not able to object to anything, Chinami let Izuzu's words rain down upon
ち
her.
なみさんなんて友達じゃない。もう友達じゃない。最初から友達なんかじゃない。友達なんかじゃなかったんだから。
Izuzu stormed out of the rooftop. Those of us remaining could only stand there speechless. The telescope's last fragments fell out of Chinami's hand. Seeing that, tears finally began to drip from Chinami's eyes. But she never raised her voice, simply stood there, enduring the pain, gazing at the speck of light around her while crying. Izuzu? I've been standing outside her house waiting for her to come out. At lunchtime she would try to go to school early this morning to avoid us. Sure enough, she came out the door much earlier than usual.
おはようございます。
Suzuha was behind her, apparently getting ready to go to school herself too.
待ってたんですか？
Yeah, Chinami is still at home though. I know what you're saying, sorry will never be enough to undo last night, but I still want to apologize.
やめてください。
Suzu averted her eyes.
先輩が謝らないでください。悪いのはちなみさんなんですから。
She said she wants to apologize too. Please find it in you to forgive her. She didn't reply.
お姉ちゃん、ちなみさんは悪くないよ。あんな風に壊れるなんて絶対おかしいし。
鈴葉、
Probably because Izuzu's tone of voice was low, Suzu had jerked up at the
もう
start.
時間でしょ。早く行きなさい。
お姉ちゃん、
私も登校するから行ってらっしゃい。
お姉ちゃん。
Isuzu, you're scaring her.
どうして怖がる必要があるんですか？私はいつも通りですから。別に怒ってませんから。ちなみさんが悪いなんて思ってませんから。ちなみさんのことを考えても仕方ありませんから。友達じゃないんですから。
Saying so, Isuzu walked off to trek up the hill. I gently rubbed Suzu's head. Don't worry, okay? I'll be back to normal in no time. I'll go back to being friends before you know it.
本当ですか？
Absolutely. Got my word. It wasn't like I had anything to base that on. But it at least seemed to come to some consolidation. Come as some consolidation to Suzuha.
ヨウさんを信じます。
Oh, my neck!
お姉ちゃんとちなみさんを信じます。
Yeah, you're a good girl. So chin up and go to school now, okay?
はい、行ってきます。
He told Suzuha goodbye, then went after Izusu. Yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Everything hurts. Hope you guys enjoyed this one and see you next time. Bye bye.